Hey there, my fellow builders, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Rad's Guide to Project Zomboid. Episode 11, Build a Safe Home. So, here's the last two garages, 2 and 1. I'll do 3. Let's clear them and then head home. Ooh, miss. Clear them and then head home, securing the home once and for all. I was also just consuming the vitamins so that I was not fighting drowsy. And of course, the drowsiness comes back because this is only -2 fatigue, whereas coffee's -50 fatigue. So vitamins are just a stopgap measure, whereas coffee is like I don't want to be tired for hours. Speaking of which, cheers. Well, did not think that that was going to work. More gas cans. I don't really need more gas cans at this point. I will take the loose plank, because I actually didn't have a lot of planks from all of my carpentry endeavors. Oh, yes! Carzone 3. So Carzone's tapes are really important, because mechanic skill is annoying to grind. So getting a tape to watch instead is incredibly good. Incredibly good. The other thing that I'm hoping to find in one of these garages is a generator, so that when I run out of power, ideally 3 generators, and I'll explain why. But when I run out of power, we're going to need to run off of generators to keep the lights on and the freezers cold. The reason I would want 3 is generators get damaged over time. And as a result, it's useful to have more than one generator so that you can switch between them in your base. So the way the generators work, I'll even back up even further, is it provides power for like a sphere around it automatically. So it's like 20 blocks, I think it's 15 or 20 units in every direction as a sphere. And then it's also, oh, speaking of which, there's a generator right here. And then it's also, it has a finite amount that it goes up. Currently in Zomboid, there isn't a lot of up. The Z height total is pretty low, but that will change next major patch where you can have like a 30-story building or whatever. Right now, the tallest buildings are like 6 stories up or something like that. So the reason to have 3 generators is that you want, or ideally, for me, is to have 2 at your base so that you can switch between them as you're doing maintenance, so you don't have your power off at any point. So if one generator needs maintenance, you turn the other one on, and then you repair the first one. Same with refueling. You can't fuel generators up while they're running. And then the other reason to have... So the reason for the third, if you're wondering, is to hook up a generator at a gas station. Because once you lose power, your... Oops. Are we transferring this? No. There's not enough space. So we need 40 units to put that in. So I'm gonna pull the gas can out, put the generator in. So you hook up a generator at a gas station, so that every time you want to top up your gasoline, you turn on the generator at the gas station, and then you refuel, and then you turn off the generator at the gas station. So that's why a third generator is really helpful, so that you have a running generator at a gas station. Let's go ahead and go home. This has been a highly productive day. Getting nails, getting paint cans for water collection, getting a generator. Oh, speaking of which, I almost forgot. I gotta mark down that we found a generator. So now on my tracker list, 1 generator found. You can definitely survive on one generator, but, you know, 2 or 3 is going to be more ideal. Generators are pretty common to find, as I was saying. What is not common to find is generator magazines, but even then, I found like 3 of them just by chance. But I've definitely had some series where, like, I cannot find generator magazines to save my life. That has happened before. Really ought not to be using this footpath to drive home, because it's when you drive really close to walls and fences, you have if you bump into it, you have a high likelihood of flipping your vehicle. It's a nice shortcut, though. I suppose I could just destroy the fence if I got a sledgehammer or something. Because I'm not maintaining my vehicle, I might actually just leave it outside, so I don't have to mess with the gates. Just grabbing everything that we're going to want inside, which is basically everything that's in here. This is definitely one of those make multiple trips, because this is a lot of stuff. Getting pretty close to my carry max. I'm not going to be able to take the shelves this run. So the generator magazine lets you know how to use generators. Unless you're an electrician, by default, you won't know how. So that is why you need a generator magazine to teach you. It's out here on the roof. This is where I want the paint buckets. So I'm just going to dump them out so they can collect water for me. I guess I'll put the plank here. And we'll start with putting the free arrows and stuff away. Because you don't see the spoil timer, but like anytime I have anything that is fresh on me, I'm just envisioning the timer on it just like ticking away in my head. Let's look at this annotated map again. Did I misread it? Oops, that's not how to do that. Left bug out bag stuff here, pointing at the bail bonds. Yeah, I mean, I searched it. So, I guess in that micro story, whoever the bug out bag was intended for, fetched it and bugged out. So good for them, they got out. Well, that was weird. Don't know how I opened the door from that far away. So I'm fully shitting up the kitchen, so when... Oh, no, you can't pry open a window like that. So when I'm in the kitchen, no one from street level can see me. And then I have a bunch of spare sheets. For now, I don't really know what I'm doing with these spare sheets just yet, so for now I'm just going to drop them on the ground. I'm going to stick the metal bar in the weapons rather than in the crafting. It's kind of both. God, I have so much random stuff. But trying to keep everything organized is really important if you don't want the burden of doing it later. Now that I have Car Zone 3, it also makes sense for me to change the book that I'm reading, which is crazy because I actually don't have that on me. Normally, I carry a book with me at all times so that I can be constantly, anytime there's downtime, I can just read what I need to, to pass the time. And ideally reading a book that is useful for skill levels, but for whatever reason, I didn't have one on me. So now I have the mechanical book on me so that I can read that up, and then once it's fully read, I can watch the Car Zone tape. It also makes sense for me to turn on the exposure survival tape 4. Now that I've fully read Carpentry Volume 2, and if there's any experience left to learn from that VHS tape, it will help to level up my my carpentry skill. The reason, I did mention this before, the reason to get 4 bowls is you can split soups and stews up 4 ways. That's the maximum. So if you have something that's incredibly filling, that's a pretty handy tool to make the most of it. So if you're like putting a giant thing of lard and a bunch of other like high calorie things in a meal, that's how to stretch the food out. Almost midnight. So the securing the base is going to be done first thing tomorrow. Another thing that will be useful to do is to store gasoline upstairs for the generator, potentially. I don't know what the generator's range is off the top of my head. It's possible that if I set the generator up here, it's too far from my base, meaning that I would need stairs to go to the roof of this building to make use of a generator. That's entirely possible. But generators take gasoline, vehicles take gasoline, so some of your gasoline should be reserved for generators. And if all the gasoline in your base is on the bottom floor, there's a possibility that your bottom floor gets overrun and you lose access to it, meaning that subsequently you lose access to your generator. I had mentioned that I wanted shelving in here to just tidy it up a bit. So I'm going to put a shelf here for gas and car parts. Just so that we can make things look a little bit more attractive. And I'll take one of these gas cans and stick it back in the trunk. I'm not going to move the gasoline just right now because it's not my task that I have as high priority. Generator. And until the power goes out, I'm not really going to know what the range of this generator is because the utility company is powering up the area. But I can connect this up so that it's ready to go when the power gets cut. So now it's connected, meaning that it can power up the surrounding area, and I will refuel it. So now this is an empty gas can. So I'm going to stick that in the trunk of the van. So anytime I swing by the gas station, I can top this can up. And then I'll take, let's say, 3 more gas cans and bring that upstairs for the generator to supply off of. I'm going to drop 2 of these, and then the third I'm going to add to the generator, 20%. So the generator can hold a little bit more than a gas can. A gas can and a fifth. So now this generator's full fuel, full condition, all set to go. Oh, I actually did have an electronics book on me. Okay. I'm going to put that away because I'll be reading mechanics. Because I have the car zone tape now. Both of those, after reading carpentry, I would say electrician and mechanics is what to work on next, because high enough electrician and mechanics allows you to move things like stoves and ovens, and it also allows you to hotwire cars and repair cars. So those are pretty high priority things to do going forward. So let's secure the base. Grabbing all the sheet ropes. So I'm going to put a wall of 3 sheet ropes here, just so that I don't miss them when I try to climb down. I did say that don't cluster all your sheet ropes together, but because I have so many, I can. I also put a cluster of sheet ropes here as well. I'll put 3 here. Again, so that I don't miss the ledge. And then I have used up, I think, all of my sheet ropes. So I need to go make some more. So I need 2 sheet ropes for that fence, and then I'm going to erect 2 more fences as well. I'm just going to put these fences directly next to the original ones, just so that it's a wider target. Essentially, I'm trying to foolproof it so that I don't fall as easily. At some point, I'm going to need to move that dumpster out front, too. All right. Now these, the zombies around the base are already in like an advanced state of decay. You'll see like maggots on them and things like that, indicating that they're kind of rotting. You can, if you want, loot the maggots for bait, for fishing, but I don't intend to be fishing. I live in a food mart. I'm just going to be eating the lovely provided food. All right. 8 more, enough for 8 more sheet ropes. That seems fine. Sheet ropes everywhere. So now it's a wider target. I'm less likely to miss and jump. And then I have enough for 5 more, so I'll add even more in. The more options you give yourself, the more secure you effectively are. This is weird. I can't interact with the fence here to add a sheet rope. I'm missing the context menu because I'm probably not clicking in the right spot. Huh. Okay. Well, I want the sheet rope back then. I can't even. It thinks I want to touch. I'm trying to interact with these windows back there, which I am not. Fine, keep that rope. I'll add 4 elsewhere. Another good long-term project would be to dismantle everything that I'm able on the first floor, so that there's nothing blocking line of sight, meaning that it's very easy to see zombies down there if there are, in fact, zombies down there. So here we go. All of the sheet ropes are now up. So I have 3, 6, 10, 14 total escape paths. Then grab the crowbar and pry up. Oh, right, it's that kind of floor. This is not going to... The floor is at the top of the staircase. Let's see if I can pry up these. There we go. Dismantle the floor. Ooh, I leveled up carpentry. So these 2 floors are like attached to the staircase, which is why I'm not allowed to dismantle them. But I can just do it around it like this, And now, because you can't cross corners, the base is safe. This staircase leads to a dead ledge, meaning that zombies can't walk up at me. It's also important to note that sheet ropes are directional, so you can only grab them the direction that they're set up. Just for aesthetics mostly, I'm going to also remove this floor tile. Although I just demonstrated it is not necessary, it might make people feel a little bit more at ease. One nice thing to do would be to put fencing around it so I don't, like, fall. But the base is technically secured, which is awesome. So the current priority right now is tidy up the base a little bit and barricade the window. So I do have like an open window that is essentially a security risk, because just because the base is now not accessible from the bottom floor doesn't necessarily mean I want zombies walking in and around the ground floor, right? Because that could still, if I didn't know they were there, that could still potentially pose a risk to me. So what I want to do is I want to mitigate that risk by adding a little bit of barricading, so that it would be harder for zombies to mess with me up here. But I'm a little hungry, so... Oh, what's my weight at? 78 and dropping? Alright, it's time to eat some ham. Microwaved ham. Do I have bread? Maybe I can make a ham and cheese sandwich. I might not have bread anymore. No, it doesn't look like I have bread. Well, a ham and cheese pile of food. I'll try to eat them together. This is a bit of a blind drop, because I didn't actually check if there were zombies down here beforehand. So, don't do that if you can help it. What I'm looking for is a few more planks. I want 4 planks, ideally. So I'm just dismantling some of these shop counters. Perfect, I got 4 planks. And now I'm going to go outside and plank up that broken window. So this window here is busted out. And we can add barricades up to 4 of them. When zombies attack, they will destroy the barricades one at a time. 3 barricades blocks vision, 4 barricades is fully barricaded. So now there's no vision through that that window either. Now what I could do is add sheets to some of the windows down here. So as I collect sheets from surrounding buildings and the like, I can start adding sheets on the inside and barricades. Oh, no, don't open it. Barricades on the outside so that zombies can't peek in, lowering the chance that zombies are attracted to come indoors. The sheets obviously don't offer any protection, physical protection, but they do offer a vision blocker. There is, of course, the entire second story of windows that are uncovered. And I would need either a sledgehammer or high carpentry skills to fix that. So I don't have the means to fix that right now. But that is a longer term goal. Let's keep dismantling stuff for planks, ideally. because it's possible to add, if I got enough planks, it's possible to add like 1 plank per glass window, effectively protecting the glass from just a little bit of damage. And all of this is requiring nails as well. So that's why I went after the nails. Some of these, like this grocer display, is not made of something that I can destroy. So I can pick it up, but I can't break it down for material necessarily. So how many planks do I have? 5? So these 5 windows is going to get 1 plank each. It's not a lot of protection, but it sure beats glass with no protection. And then also, if any of the planks on these windows are ever missing, I know that the plank did its job and protected the window. Hey, Trustin. Thank you for the resub. 44 months, man. How's life treating you? I'm glad it's you know, reading your Discord and all. I'm glad it's easier now. Less stressful. Life's a little bit more normal. If I wanted to level up carpentry a lot, more complex carpentry things level you up faster. So like dismantling double beds is more effective than dismantling like basic boxes. So these shelves are, I don't know actually how much experience it is, but I have to empty them out first. And we can continue to grab planks and nails. So I'm going to be making a big mess here by pulling everything off the shelf and just like dumping on the ground. But it's all in the name of securing the base. And also not having like weird pathing blockers right underneath these sheet ropes too. Because it's a little confusing to rope down and immediately be like embedded in shelving units. The game allows it, but like it just feels weird. Every base that, unless you're choosing this food mart specifically, every base will have its own version of problems and needs and all that. So warehouses, I did mention I typically go for as bases, and one of the reasons for that is they just don't have a lot of windows. Warehouses lack a lot of windows, making it really easy to sort of remove visibility into, versus like a giant grocery store, which obviously has a storefront full of windows. And I'm nowhere close to being able to do it. The windows are a little bit, have significantly less HP than the doors, but you can even barricade the doors up too. If you barricade the doors, however, they aren't usable as doors. So just keep that in mind. So if you hear zombies like trying to break into your grocery store, for instance, and you've barricaded up the doors, you're going to need to frantically run outside through some other method to get at those zombies before they break in. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Elite, thank you for the sub. It's crazy how little wood I'm getting from these giant shelving units, but that's a bit of RNG, low carpentry skill, and just honestly the way the looting system works. And yes, I'm making a giant mess, even though the goal was to tidy up. I'm definitely working against that goal. But zombies will not be able to hide easily if I remove all the shelving, because they'll be very easy to spot and out in the open, which is exactly the point. I don't want a zombie to sneak in here somehow and be lurking in a corner or something like that. There's also a lot of good condiments that I've been noticing. A lot of like soy sauces and marmalades and hot sauces that are good for cooking. Alright, it's getting dark, so I'm going to wrap this up. These will be the last ones I do. So I'm tired, and my vision cone is getting ruined as a result. No, this last window, I'm just going to fully barricade it. I have the planks for it. Because if zombies are like shuffling around from the edge of the building, they're going to, more often than not, attack the first window or door that they interact with. So the windows at the edges usually are the first to be broken. I'm also going to have to remember that I can't get up home through the staircase anymore, because I've destroyed the staircase. It's no longer a valid path up. Okay. Well, besides that, as you can see, some of the vision out front is obscured. There's the second story windows that are a whole different story. But that's, as I said before, a bit of a longer term goal. I am a little low on water. I know storms are coming, so I'm not too worried about that. Because now I have 3 paint buckets and a cooking pot out there. We'll be able to get our water back. No problem. I can also start leaving these doors open, because there's physically no way for zombies to get at me anymore. I am 100% safe where I am. Because there's no, they can't climb sheet ropes, and there's no workable stairs. So the base is fully secured. The goal for tomorrow. I'm going to think of that. Sleep on the next goal. So at this point, with a fully secured base, you have a bunch of different options. One is to start skill grinding. Meaning mechanics and electrical primarily, so that you can hotwire cars, you can move stoves and the like. Continuing to grind carpentry, so that you can make rain barrels for plumbing, and staircases to gain access to Z levels that would otherwise not be accessible. So one of the reasons why I mentioned that is, let's say we wanted our kitchenette to have plumbing. I would need rain barrels on the roof. Not the roof access that I have over here, but the roof above the kitchen. The way plumbing works is you have a rain barrel above the thing that uses the water below. So we could do that, but it would require me to have the carpentry skill to make stairs, which is carpentry 6. It's a bit lofty. If I don't have more carpentry tapes and carpentry books, I would want carpentry volume 3, possibly carpentry volume 4, and then more woodworking tapes. But if I obtain that stuff, that would be possible. I could also try to move a bed in here. It would have to be a relatively simple bed, because I don't have super high carpentry skill, but that would be worth doing as well. So I think what I'm going to do is work on carpentry. So work on carpentry skill for stairs and rain barrels. The reason for it is I've already I've already put the work in getting a generator and a generator magazine and gasoline so that when the power is cut, I still have running power in my base, but I do not have running water in the base. So essentially all of that carpentry stuff is so that I can get running water. I flicked the radio on to see if power's going to get cut. The radio will tell me in advance if power's getting cut. And had I been listening to the emergency channel, it would have also informed me that the water's going to get cut ahead of time. And also that the chopper was going to come ahead of time. I just wasn't listening to it prior to water cutting and chopper arriving. So it took me by surprise instead. Light fog. All right, so lower visibility outside. It's not great. It's going to get cloudy. And then there should be a storm coming in like a day. Yes. Showers and heavy rain and thunderstorms, a tropical storm. Severe storm in 2 days. So a severe storm doesn't exactly directly affect the player. There isn't like storm damage. It's not going to break anything. There won't be trees coming down or cars getting trashed or anything like that. It's just a lot of rain, which makes the traction on the roads a little worse, the visibility a little worse, but it isn't like an apocalyptic event of any sort. So if I want to work on more carpentry skill, I'm almost actually carpentry level 4. So let's see if the exposure survival tape had any more carpentry experience left on it. It's very possible that the tape is done and I have gotten all the experience out of it that I can. But what that means is I'm going to need to find another carpentry book because I've already gone through 1 and 2. So this is the remainder of the exposure survival. And I'm rewatching it, but all the parts that are already seen won't give me any more experience. And then while I'm watching Exposure Survival over again, I'm just reading the mechanics book. I'm like just doubling up on everything I'm doing. And I have to start thinking about where I might go about finding additional books. I could go house to house, but that's not awesome to do. So I'm going to use my my knowledge of Project Zomboid to come up with a better game plan, just because it's not necessarily interesting for me to loot houses at a low chance to find the books that I need for entertainment value. So if you were a brand new player and you didn't know where to go, going house to house and checking the bookshelves on the house would probably be the most obvious to you to do. So there was no more experience on the tape here. I could probably have checked all my training materials, gone to VHS, and seen Exposure Survival Fire. See how it's no longer grayed out. It means I've derived all that I need from it. And the same will be true of Carpentry Volume 1 and 2 for my training materials and then recipes you can see as well. Thank you for tuning in to Rad's Guide to Project Zomboid, which originally streamed live on Twitch April 4th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you on next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow survivors.